M365 enthusiasts and delving into Azure cloud computing. And today we are talking about cloud computing fundamentals. Although we did a little of it the last time, which I'll just make a recap. Definitely, we are going to go deeper as time progresses, right? The last time we talked and defined what cloud computing is, and we describe it as as accessing computing resources over the internet. So anytime you hear the word cloud, they are referring to the term internet, and there is no two other ways about it. We also talked about the scenarios whereby we have been using cloud computing probably without our own knowledge. And we talked about, made the example with using the Google OneDrive space, whereby you save your documents and access them anywhere at any time um, at all, provided you have your internet connection. We talked about using iCloud for iPhones, accessing your pictures too. And then we also make wonders of making use of Facebook. You don't know where the pictures you post are being stored. All you care about is you go over to Facebook anytime you want, and probably you want to retrieve some photos or you want to go back to see some histories, or you care just to go back and then you see all of those. We talked about the benefits of cloud computing, where we talked about the availability, and we talked about the SLA guide, which is service level agreement, which is a formal agreement between we can say supplier and the buyer. And in this case, it's a Microsoft, because we are dealing more on Microsoft products. Uh, the people who are supplying us, they are the ones servicing us. We call them cloud service providers, CSPs, right? And we are the customer. And talking about availability, we talked about them and assuring us of 99.99% of uptime. Uptime means availability and downtime means unavailability. That means it is almost impossible to experience unavailability when you talked about cloud computing. And I must quickly tell you that cloud computing is not just limited to Microsoft alone. Microsoft is just one of those service providers that that offers cloud computing services. We have example of Google. We have examples such as AWS, Oracle, AWS, Amazon Web Service. We have, I think we have GoDaddy. We have a whole lot of them, right? And then we talked about reliability. We talked about even the benefit when you come to Africa. We try to see the job opportunities that relates to this field when you are able to get the required skills for them. We were able to go through, see the admin centers that are here where you can. There's what we call privileged access identity, right? Where you can be recruited, with opportunities to manage a certain area of these services on, for an organization. Okay, and that is one very key aspect of this. We were able to define authentication and authorization, where we define authentication as the process of trying to get access, to an environment. For example, if you get to your home, you need your key to be able to open your room so you can access the room. The same way, I know most of us before we join this call, we probably try to sign in. That process of signing in, you might have input your username, you might have, which is an email address most time. You might have tried to put your password. That is the process of authentication. I would say authorization is the level of permission that you are being given, that is being given to an authenticated user. So that is to say that if you come to your room, if you come to your house and you use your key to open your room and you enter, in that instance, you only have access. Now, what you now do in that house depends on the level of authorization you have, right? You may not decide to say you want to sleep. Of course, it is your room. Not everybody can come to your room and sleep. Perhaps somebody like us that use a room for both parlor and room, right? Unlike having people unlike people that we have room and parlor where you have parlor for visitors. But just if you are some, I mean, somebody like me, if you should come to visit me now, and in most cases, especially when you're a stranger, you want to wait for me to say sit. That is, I'm authorizing you. Until I authorize you to sit, then it is where you will sit down. And until I authorize you, maybe you want to sleep. You may want to request that you want to sleep. And until I authorize you, that is where you lie down, right? And when the person knocks, until you give them access, they will not be able to say, okay, they want to come inside. That is the same way authorization and authentication works. Authorization grants you access. Sorry, authentication grants you access. Authorization gives you permission. And we're able to practicalize this when we create an identity. And when we say identity, identity can mean a lot of things, but in most cases, we want to think of users, which are individual. So identity are actually entity. There could be resources, such as even a conference room can be an identity where you can, create a resource. It can even be an instrument and somebody or organization or department want to use and they need to, first of all, request for it and then we grant access. So we demonstrated this by creating an account, which is an identity for Olive the last time. And in doing that, we practicalize the process of authentication and authorization. We drop the YouTube group link. If you care, you can just want to, take a glance and look at how those work again. So today, what we are talking about, like that day, because I'll tell you for a fact that Olive has a fundamental knowledge of these things. So there wasn't need for us to go down deep to the history and origin. Maybe I want to do a little of it, like very little snippet of it, to our own understanding. A lot of us don't really have interest in history, right? But there is no um, there is no records without history. There is no today without history. So for us to use this technology effectively, it is nice that we know the origin of where we are coming from and how we are able to transition to this very moment. Okay, so what is actually the history of cloud computing? When you talked about history, that is how it's begun. So the history is this: all of us, we might have been told or learned from our secondary school days, our early days at the university, that computer was one very big something like that, like a very big machine that people, I think we have seen in visuals, that before you can carry a computer, you need a truck to move that computer from one place to the other. It was that big, okay? It was very, very inconveniencing, but it was a discovery. People were people has vision for these things. People were able to discover these things and they brought about that computer. But in real sense, they'll tell you that it even started from the days of Abacus, when you will need to be counting rings and stuff, just so using computer that manner. So it happens that they transit to that using big computer, and it was being used like that. Time progresses, and they have what we call a PC, which means personal computer. Okay. Now that PC is small, but things are being stored in this PC for individual use. Take note, it is small and more convenient now than before that you can't take it around. This time around, it's even mobile, but it is local. It is local that you only store information in this system that I'm using right now. And if anything should happen to this system, that means everything that I have in this system is gone. Just imagine this system is the whole of my organization, and it's been stolen. Like I was discussing earlier on today with a colleague, that there was a time where I was making some money from saving documents for people. They just reach out to me. I need this, I need that. I know some of you will be a testaments to what I'm saying because we have worked before together in the past. I'll send it to them and I will, earn a little from there. It happens that I relocated and one thing led to the other. My phones were stolen. And that was the end of those documents from my end. And people will reach out again and yeah, I don't have any means to retrieve them back. That means if anything, just imagine that phone as my organization. It goes down, my organization goes down. There is nothing anywhere again. Okay. So some people now decide to come up like, hey, what if we build a place where we will be storing this information for people and they can be able to come, access it, and they pay us for keeping these things. We will ensure extra security for them that nothing is going to miss. And that is what brought about this idea of cloud computing. The service for you at their data center, we have what we call data center. Microsoft has theirs, I think they have about 6 now, but I know one at least is at each of the continents. And that is how we arrived at cloud computing. Now, look at one difference again. In an organization where there is a demonstration I did here, this, you are seeing a system, you are seeing a system, you are seeing a system where I write user 1, 2, and 3. And there are 2 IT guys here, okay? Now, this user 1 and user 2, if they want to transfer files for each other, is either you take a flash, you need an external means to transfer those things, either cord, flash, or whatever. You copy from here, you come to 2, you paste here, you come to 3, you paste here. And if this guy has issue, you come to this person, you solve this issue, you come here, and there are 99 users. You want to kill these 2 innocent guys, solving all 99 people's problem from one desk to the other? No. And that is why here we now have a server. This server is acting as that data center. So all data are stored here. This pool you are seeing here is just a demonstration to explain authentication and authorization. When user 99 writes a username, it goes to the pool to check if that username is even in existence in the first place, right? Then, come on. Oh, sorry. If this user is even in existence in the first place, right? And I've off my notification. And it will come back to check. It will come back to check and say, okay, it's existing. Okay, enter the password. It is existing within our domain. We have what we call domain controller. That is why if you see .com, .ng, .the rest, those are domain. We have here, we have an endpoint that controls them. So this is them. Now, this IT guy's focus is now on this server. And if you want to, anything you save on your system, you want to transfer, it can be done via this server, whereby this user will just probably send a link to this guy who will click on it, and it will direct them here and return quickly. There's what we call network, right? These are cables that connect them. It may not be connecting them real life, but they are what we call network connection. This is not internet. Note that all internet are network, but all network are not internet. Right? When you talk about internet, internet is actually a wide area network. We have what we call local area network. We have what we call metropolitan area network. And we have what we call, which is also called campus area network, right? But that we are not doing networking class. But these are networks that connect this thing to connect to this server. And when any user has issue, because they are connected, the IT guys don't need to jump from one desk to the other. They can just sit at the comfort of this server room or server environment and attend to every issue here, right? Now, but this server is situated in the organization. That is, if there is fire outbreak and this server burns, that means this organization is still down. And that is where we have cloud computing. So I never thought of going this deep, but since we are here, we can just do it. So this is now cloud, right? These are companies. This is the data center. Let's say Microsoft has this, or maybe Google has this, right? This company, all they do, they don't need to save that server within the environment of their company again. They now save it in the data center of Microsoft. Now, when that is done, they want to access information. Group of guys still do this. They did all of this. They want to access information. Piam, internet. Piam, internet. And that is the term cloud. They just come here, take whatever they want to take. And they don't have ethic about securing the environment. It's not their business. They don't have problem with updating softwares. They don't have problem with maintaining the systems. All they just need to do, pay and use the service. Okay, and we try to talk about the responsibility. So before I move on, this server that you have here, if a company is operating, right, and they have a server within the environment, this server room can be considered on-premises infrastructure, on-premises environment. It is their environment. But when you now use cloud, you use internet to access it via a data center. So I think I should have a little breath and ask if we are even following at all. So please, guys, you can just unmute and let me know if we've been following so far.
I've been following you so far.
All right, thank you. Okay, John, that is John. I never knew that you joined us. Thank you. So who else?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, is that Chidi or Olive? Your voice are sounding alike.
It's Olive.
Okay, okay. All right, so
Yeah.
if is anyone still speaking? Okay, that is that. So now we have on-premises environment. This is just the advantage, right? Now scalability, on-premise, you are in charge of maintaining everything, your infrastructure, whether you use it or you don't use it. Scalability, whether you use it or you don't use it, you spend money. You need to employ security. You pay them on a monthly basis. You need to be servicing the servers. You pay for those services. You need engineers to be on site. You pay them on a monthly basis. But when you come to cloud, you don't need to bother about anything. You don't do any other nothing. So it is just seamless. Yours is come, use, go, right? You can scale up, like we said the other day, there's horizontal scaling, there are vertical scaling. There are points whereby you will not be able to use, there are system specification. There are instances whereby you have 2 gig RAM and you cannot do certain things that you want to do. You just want to upscale to 4 gig RAM. That is, just upgrading the software. There are instances where you need to upgrade hardware as well. Okay, so physical horizontal scaling is just you maybe power supply, right? Sometimes in cloud computing you need internet. It is internet. You need like this session that we are now, without some power supply, I will not be able to do it. I may need a generator to access my things if I'm feeling that, okay, I don't usually have power supply, for example. When I do that, generator is a physical equipment that I need to just upscale. Doing that, I'm using the what we call horizontal scaling, and the vertical scaling is just doing the software upscale, right? And they do example of the server storage. Yeah, you manage everything by yourself, while in cloud, you have third-party providers, which we call CSPs, cloud service providers, that manages everything for you. Data security in this place, like we said, physical security, folder security, if anything happen. But here, no worries. They are there to do it for you. Just pay, use, and go, right? When we talk about data loss, there can be fire outbreak, but here, there can be fire outbreak in your environment still. But because you have all those things in your cloud, you can easily go back and you just do data recovery if you do backup before, right? And it is always if I without backup, provided they are saved in the cloud, you can always retrieve them back. Then maintenance, we talked about it. You spend a lot of money in maintaining them, but yeah, don't bother, right? So what we want to talk about today, majorly what I planned for us today is this deployment model and service model. See, these are one key component for newbies that are coming into the field. Okay. Now, what happens here is in most of the interview, these are where people want to get you if you even know what you are doing. Like basically, there is no how questions don't dominate from this place if you are going for if you are applying for any role at an entry level in cloud computing, focus on M365. But in cloud computing generally, these are fundamentals that you need to be very, very acquainted with. So these are the deployment model. This deployment model can as well be referred to as types of cloud. How many types of cloud do we have? How did they operate? Like in our first class, I was saying that it is very, very important we make research. It is very, very important you make research. Like when you are into cloud computing, you should make research a part of you. Like ask questions, use the Google, use the Copilot. Me as a person, I prefer using the Copilot. Why? Because it is more flexible to me. We can differ in the way we want to do things. Why man is very easy for me is I make use of the Edge browser. And there is just a Copilot integrated by the side here. And what is Copilot? Copilot is a Microsoft integrated AI tool. And if you see, Microsoft has recently renamed their portal from Office to, before you see Office, but now it's more of Copilot. So what I do is that I click here. It's coming up for me. I want to explain. We will start with private cloud, and then we go to public cloud. So what is a private cloud? Private cloud. So a question was asked that the difference between on-prem and data center. And I think a private cloud can be used to further attempt that question. So here it says a private cloud refers to a cloud computing environment that is exclusively used by a single organization, unlike public clouds that serve multiple customers. Private clouds are dedicated to one entity, providing greater control, privacy, and security They can be hosted on premises or by a third-party provider. Private clouds are ideal for organizations that need to adhere to strict compliance and data protection regulations. Now, we just read and read and read and read. See, I know that in sessions like this, see, cloud computing can be very, very boring from the beginning, most especially when you have not gotten to the practical aspect of it. When you are just dealing with all these fundamental basics, it can be draining. We have done a lot from school. We have read and read. Some of us, even during our sign out, we will say we are not going to read again, but it's not true, right? The fact is, if you don't know these fundamentals, you will not be able to apply the knowledge in practical, I mean, in a real life scenario. So that is what we need to know. Now we want to say, what is an example? What is an example of a private cloud, of a private cloud? Oh, I did cloud. Anyways, so an example of a private cloud is Microsoft Azure Stack, which allows organizations to build and run their own private cloud infrastructure. It enables business to deploy cloud. I think this is too deep for us to assimilate at the moment, right? I wanted to give us example of companies that may need to use a private cloud. So in most cases, it is highly sensitive companies, like highly profile company that deals with very sensitive information, probably a part of government agencies, right? They want to use a private cloud so that they can keep a lot of information private to themselves. How does it work? Like in this diagram that we have here, you see this bus and this vehicle here. It is private. It is a private vehicle. When you want to go out, you don't have any problem. Anytime, any day, you enter, you move, you go at your own convenience, right? That is what the private cloud does. So private cloud, you own the cloud. It can be hosted on premise. It can be hosted by um, I mean, a third party organization that will be managing this for you. But in this case, you are only the one using it. And we have example here, Microsoft Azure Stack. So when you subscribe to this package, for example, to this platform, you'll be able to build your organization, and only you take care of it. You modify it to how you want it. You run the update, everything, right? And then we have the public cloud. Example of a public cloud is this Microsoft, Google, and the rest, because everybody has access to it. Public cloud. Don't mind my letter early, it doesn't used to press very well. So a public cloud is a cloud computing model where services such as storage, application, and virtual machines. These are services that cloud computing offers. Storage, application, virtual machine are provided over the internet. Please note, there is no how you want to define cloud computing in this world, that if internet is not included in your definition, even if you like define it in 101 pages, it's not correct by third-party vendors. So in this case, it cannot be hosted on-prem. It has to be purely third-party vendor. These resources are shared among multiple customers, making it cost-effective and scalable option for individual businesses. Yes, I must also reiterate that private cloud is more expensive because you have a lot of maintenance to do. But in public cloud, you see here there is a bus, just like you are in Lagos. You want to go from Ikeja to Yaba, you don't have a vehicle, nothing. All you just do is go to under bridge. There is a Danfo bus. You pay for your space, you sit down. Another person pays for their space, they sit down. Other person pay, they sit down. This bus will take them to where they want to go. And when you get to your destination, if I get to Yaba, I count down. When you get to Maryland, you count down. You pay for the distance you cover. So in public cloud, what you do is you pay for the resources you use. Depending on the amount of resources you use, you just go pay, use. Another person go pay, use. Another person pay, go use. But don't forget that security is one of the things we advocate very well in cloud computing. The fact that I come and pay and use, you come and pay and use, there is nobody having access to your information that is private to you. Nobody. So the level of security sensitization and awareness that Microsoft raise often is to ensure that you secure your data very well, to avoid it, avoid them being, getting attacked by all these cyber threat people. All right, so they don't joke with privacy. Even then, themselves shouldn't even have, they don't have access to your products. To your personal data and information. Okay, now examples of public cloud. Okay, we talked about private, Microsoft Office. And so which organization would I say use public cloud? We have a lot of organizations. I can't really pick one in my head now, but I just think about organizations that all they do is public. It's just cloud, 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 cloud. Like anything outside cloud is not there for them. Some IT firm can be, some small business organizations can be, whereby they just come, pay, and go. It is more affordable, cost effective. Then you come to what we call hybrid cloud. So the essence of private cloud, and one thing I know it has been able to promote a lot in terms of cloud computing, rather, one thing it promotes a lot is hybrid system of work. It enables you to work from home and work from the office. That is the term hybrid. Hybrid means combination of two together, two options. So in this case, hybrid cloud. Let's see what Copilot has for us. Hybrid cloud is a blend of both private and public cloud environments, allowing organizations to use and integrate the best of both worlds. It enables business to move workload between private and public clouds as needed, optimizing performance, cost, and security. Now, say, for example, an organization might use a private cloud to store sensitive data, which we talked about private clouds before, and a public cloud for less critical application. Hybrid clouds offers flexibility, scalability, and enhanced security, making them an excellent choice for business with fluctuating demands or strict compliance requirements. Example is a bank. We have one of us that have worked in bank before. You want to agree with me that your experience while working with the bank is should be, you should be able to get some sense, of this hybrid cloud from it. Now, in the bank, they have a server room and they make use of public cloud. The server room is where they keep their server and store most and very sensitive information there. And they leave the cloud for who wants to use it. Example of those sensitive information from the bank is, for example, they build app for transactions. They don't leave stores, they don't build stores like that on the public cloud. No, they want to restrict it and limit it to their private environment as much as possible to ensure and grant security. And now, the public cloud, you may reach them on Gmail. You may be having problem. You go to Twitter, X, say, Access Bank, where are you? Oh yeah, I'm trying to make this transaction. No, you are making use of the public cloud. So depending on the scenario, now if you check this diagram here, you see this is a taxi, different from a private car, different from a public cloud. But now this taxi serves two purposes. It serves both as private car and it serves both as public cloud. How? A taxi, let's say Uber, you order for it. It is a public transport, but you are using it at a point as a private car. you pay for the service and they carry only you, and they are there to your instructions. Once you are coming down, another person is entering. So it serves the public, but at every point serves you on a private level. I don't know if you are getting the point now. So that is what hybrid cloud does basically. Do we have any reservation here? Any question so far on based on this deployment model that we have talked about? I'm going to close my Copilot. You can unmute and speak, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So any reservations so far, any question, clarification before we move on to the services?
Sorry, please, can you specify the? I know you already said about the set of organization that uses a private cloud and the ones that uses plugable. Can you just structure that one if you have time? Maybe you should just structure that. Just give us the list, straight list, and just telling us
Who is
of
what is that place? Public
of
or private?
yeah. That's the organization that uses something like that.
Okay, I would have loved to leave you to go and do this research, but let me try and see, because to be frank with you, a lot of things is not coming to mind at the moment. Like I'm just to focus on what I want to do today. And because I've had this document, I've not even worked on this, I've not even opened them for a while. So I just come, let's say you want to, uh, you are just putting me on the spot, but then I have a friend. So we will just ask, example of organization using public and private cloud. So before I even move on, I would love to tell you also that there is the fourth one actually that is not here, and that is called the multi-cloud. So on the pause, an example of an organization using both public and private clouds is Netflix. Come on, this is not what we are asking. Netflix uses hybrid cloud, using where it leverages Amazon. Mr. and Mrs. Maybe we want to take that as an assignment and see, just do a research on it, please. We can, just hit me up on WhatsApp and dig it deeper if there is need for that, and just so we can save some of our time too, please. Pardon me and understand with me. So multi-cloud, we have multi-cloud. Multi-cloud, what is a multi-cloud? So multi-cloud refers to the use of multiple cloud platform services or providers in a single environment. It can involve combining multiple public clouds or a mix of public, private, and on-premises environment infrastructure. The idea behind multi-cloud to avoid reliance on a single provider and leverage the strength of different platforms for specific tasks. So what this is saying basically is you can be using two public clouds at the same time from different providers. For example, you are using Microsoft and you are using Google. Now you may be using Microsoft for, depending on your target, right? You may be using Microsoft for email, for example, and you decide to use Google for storage, depending on your convenience. So if you are using two public cloud at the same time, means you are using multiple cloud. And there is something I would love to share with you as well. Let me just quickly open my LinkedIn. And that is about regional, um, regional, when it talk Azure cloud regions, yeah, we call it cloud regions, and I've worked on something like that very recently. So hold on, let me just quickly run along. So we call them region pairs. And what is this? No, we didn't get here. Yeah, I think here. Let me open this document and see what is here. Okay, that day as well, we talked about CapEx and OpEx. Please, CapEx and OpEx. This is capital expenditures. This is operational expenditures. Let me just download. Now you see what I am doing. I don't have this document on my system. I'm not even sure I have it on my phone. But I can just quickly come here and say, hey, bring it out for me. And yeah, it's coming to my system, cloud. It is saved here and it is there forever. Right? So this is just we explaining private, public, and the hybrid. So CapEx are upfront expenditures or investments in physical assets like server, data center, and networking. You know, before you even think of using cloud computing, maybe you need to rent an office space. You pay in advance. You pay for the office. Those are capital expenditures. Operational expenditures involves the ongoing cost for using and maintaining services. So you pay for things as you go on. You pay for what you use. Then we have consumption-based model, which is a better cost prediction. You know, a cloud service provider operates on a consumption-based model, which means that end users only pay for the resources that they use, which we'll be talking about. And these are some of the benefits: high availability, scalability, predictability, governance, elasticity, reliability, security, manageability. Elasticity, reliability. Okay, so these are just some of the explanation. I may just drop you this, you know, just in case you want to read through, just so you can read through as well. There's something I'm looking for here, and these are the infrastructure as I said. Okay, we are coming down to this place. Maybe we'll even use here to explain it without needing to consult my friend, just so we don't disturb it so much. Then we'll now talk about shared responsibilities, and I would still love us to do a little practical, right? Very little, no matter what. At least let it be that anytime we talk and talk and talk, we are able to do something, even if it is very minimal. So we want to talk about cloud services. Cloud services, you see here how I put them. Cloud computing, we have deployment model, we have service model, we have public, private, hybrid, we have IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So IaaS is infrastructure as a service, PaaS is platform as a service, and SaaS is software as a service. So what are these? Infrastructure as a service provides visualized computing resources over the internet. This is building pay-as-you-go IT infrastructure by renting servers, virtual machines, storage, networks, and operating systems from cloud providers. Now, example of this is more like an on-prem, right? It's more like an on-prem, but this time around, you are accessing it over the cloud. So what you do now is you rent the apartment to use, and you pay for it as you use it. If I should have, so there's what to call, if I should do this, right, and I do feature, and I do this, turn Windows features on and off, it's going to give me a prompt from the what is it called again? Oh my God. Okay, we'll get there. I will try to remember as soon as I can. So you just come here, you come to this app IV, and once you check it, it will tell you to, you know, reboot your system. But before you even come to this place, you want to check your taskbar, right? You want to check your taskbar. Let me just come here, right click here. You check your task manager. So, okay, yeah, what I was thinking about that I was getting confused about is control panel. This is a control panel. You can actually access it from the control panel. So, yeah, if you come to this, there is performance here, right? If you come to this performance, you want to check for visualization. If it is enabled, you want to check for visualization. This is it here. So once you see this visualization enabled, if it is not enabled, you can't build a cloud environment in this PC. I don't know what made me to delete my existing server already, but then we'll just get here. So you see this visualization enable. Once you see it enable, you just come to your control panel, which is you do your turn on and off feature to go and enable it from there. And once you've done that, you can just click here, your Windows key, you do App IV Manager, which is the same thing I pin here. Once you open this App IV Manager, right, you can build another system inside of this system. Just doing the snapshots console. Now look at it, and this is just, it will become a virtualized environment. Azure has their own Azure, but this one now will be very local if I should proceed with this, right? This is my system. I can decide to say, okay, new. They will ask me virtual machine. I will create. I'll give it a name. I'll give it a server. I will install another Windows I have downloaded here. If I should check my download, Windows C, and I come to my downloads, I've downloaded a lot of things over this past few days. You will see this server here. If I should open it and do, okay, let me see the properties. There's the properties. You see that it is an OS, which is operating system. So I will install it and do everything I needed to do. It becomes a computer, another computer entirely from this my computer. But this time around, it is on a visualized environment. I am using it inside of this system virtually. The same way I can come to azure.portal.com, azure.portal.com, right? These are, remember, they says, yeah, virtual machines. And the one I almost built was virtual machines because we don't have time. So infrastructure as a service is more like an on-prem. It is virtualized, right? It's more like a computer, but this time around, it is not a computer, but it is a computer. Like that one I wanted to build will be relying on my local machine to work, to perform. But it is another computer on its own, but it is virtual. This call we are on now is virtual, right? What is this? I'll show the portal.com. This one we are now is virtual. We are on a virtual call. I can literally see you if I want to. You can see me too if I want you to, right? And because you are not yet face to face, it becomes a virtual meeting. So a virtual machine means a machine. A machine is a computer, a machine. But this time around, in a visualized environment. If I do, you see already, you have virtual machine, you have Kubernetes services, you have Azure AI services. All of these you can create. Why are you here? Come on, close down. Now, if I should come here and say, okay, I want to create a resource, for example, I want to create something. They will now say, okay, what do you want to create? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to create a virtual machine? Do you want to create a Windows Server 2019 data center? You know, like we said, Microsoft has a data center where they manage your things, right? Your data. They are situated at every continent. Okay. But here, for here, no, you will have it on your system and access it virtually. It's a data center as well. You can create apps, you can create function apps, you can create a lot, even in Ubuntu. These are OS. You can create more than a lot, right? This is more like a a virtual environment, Microsoft Learn. I know I sent this to a lot of people, some of us rather, that we can go through and read and read and read. I just want to show something there. So now, from infrastructure as a service, that is, building pay-as-you-go IT infrastructure, I must quickly tell you that if I should build, I cannot even build, as this account is, I can't build a virtual machine. The reason why is I don't have Azure credits. And Azure credits, I need to pay to have it. And I need this to create this account. Now you see, get 200 for free. So my first month, I can actually get $200 Azure credits. I can actually get for free. But what if I finish exhausting them? I can't get another for free. This is just for the first month. I need to be buying and buying and buying. And until I have, I cannot create. And that is why I said I want to create. And they brought me here and they say, don't have subscription, check the following, blah, 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 explore. But if I have had, they'll just say, okay, yeah, proceed and create. So pay as you go IT infrastructure, but it is virtually, right? Then we have platform as a service. Now, this provides a platform for developers to build, test, deploy, and manage software's application without managing the underlying infrastructure. So now, here you see that Azure app service. Here you build apps, you test them, see if they work, you deploy them for organizations to use. You can even build and sell for organization. Now, this time around, the infrastructure is already in place. Like Azure now, this is an infrastructure. The Azure itself is an infrastructure. It's already in place. If I come here and say I want to build a web app, I can build the web app and sell it and use. People will use it. Organization will use it. But I don't bother about this infrastructure. I don't bother about Azure. It's not my problem. It's different from somebody who runs thousands and millions of codes, right? To go and build an app. It will be the one on the ground, checking everything and everything. Yeah, yes, you can, but you are not managing, you are not the one that owns the data center. Not like that you create a data, for example, now, if I should build that virtual machine I wanted to build earlier on, I will be accessing it through my system, whether I have internet connection or not, actually. I'll be managing it through my system. It's more like an on-prem environment. But then, what if something happened to my system? It's gone now, right? It is gone for good. I don't have access again, unless I have a sync and stuff. There are other ways to do backup, right? But we are not going all those deep yet. So here you can actually build, test, deploy, and even sell. It could be you are working for an organization, they will ask you to build. At the end of the month, they pay you your salary. But in this case, you are not responsible for managing the infrastructure. And there's software as a service. So when you see cloud computing majorly deals with softwares. If you check most of their cloud providers, you see Microsoft, Office 365, you see Office, you see all of this, they are softwares. You see Google Drive, you see Google this, Google that, Google Calendar, Google whatever. They are softwares. Nothing concerns you with the platform. You did not build anything. You did not build the application. Nothing concerns you with the infrastructure. You did not own the data center. All your concern is come, buy, use. Chicken, like you don't really have any problem at all. Come, use, go. Come, use, go. Here you don't manage anything. And that is why we now have let's do comparison. The most valuable cloud services, IaaS, because you control everything that happens there, both the infrastructure and the underlying infrastructure that you have built. You configure and manage the hardware for your application. Then you do all the settings. Basically, like you are in charge of everything. But in past, you don't maintain any infrastructure, you only come, you build. That is your focus. Your focus is on application development. And platform management is handled by the cloud provider. That is the infrastructure. That is the platform. You are just coming to use their platform. They have built it. You are using the platform. And software, you pay as you go pricing model. User pay for software they use on subscription base. Now, shared responsibilities. We are here. What is your responsibility as you are using this cloud and that cloud? What is Microsoft responsibilities? What is Google responsibility? What is Amazon responsibility? Everybody has their responsibilities to play. Everybody has. And there is where we will see a slight difference between the on-premise and infrastructure, because most times they can be used interchangeably, maybe casually, but when you come to technicality, they are actually different. So when you see this table, you see SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and on-premise. Now you see the responsibilities here. You see physical data center, you see physical network, you see physical host, you see operating systems, you see network controls, you see applications, you see identity and directory infrastructure, you see accounts and identities, you see device and mobile PC, you see information and data, right? Now, physical data center is the full responsibility of, if you are operating on-prem, like you have your own on-prem, like the data center, you are in charge. Is a data center, as a matter of fact, on-prem. If it is on-prem, it is on-prem. There is no two ways about it, right? They have a physical data center that they control, but the IaaS, which is infrastructure, they don't have. You don't necessarily need to have. Then SaaS is obvious, you don't have. PaaS, you don't have. There is already one existing. Now, physical network is what happens in that infrastructure, that data center, when you need to connect one post to the other. So when we talk about physical network, when you are talking about networking, you are talking about IP addresses in most cases. You see all those simple mathematics we did in our computer science, when you will say octets, when you say binary numbers, convert 255 to octet 8 and waiting. Then you will see something like 10 to 11100, computer language 0 and 1. That is physical, that is network. And in networking, there are what we call port and switches. There are what we call routers. All of these connections are being made back end, right? Now, yeah, a lot of security takes place as well, because a lot of configuration can be done. That is where you have subnetting, you have subnet mask, you have IP addresses, a lot of things. You talk about private IPs, you talk about public IPs, you talk about classes of IP, A, B, C, D, E, the ranges, and the likes, right? So yeah, it's because of course it is physical, it has to be on the on-prem, and at the same time, it's not on infrastructure, it's not on platform, because they rely on this infrastructure to perform. I mean, they rely on on-prem to perform. And because they are existing on on-prem already, they don't need them again, as well as the physical, as the as the SaaS. Now, physical host. So you cannot talk about network and not talk about host. Let me just give you an example. Let me open my Paint. Yeah, is it Paint? Yeah, let me open my Paint. Just coming up. So let's just do a little of networking here. So if I pick this and say I want to write something, if I say 192.68.0.0. This is a class C private IP address. Now, in this case, these three are the network, and this is the host. And all of this together like this They are 32 bits. 32 bits. Don't mind my handwriting. No. These are 32 bits. What? And now, if this is 32, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, that means each will be 8. 8, 8, 8, 8. Okay. Now, I said this is network. This is host. Now, in network, we are not doing, I will not even take us deep, right? In network, all of these are turned on. All of the bits here are turned on. And each bit is 8. That means anything that is turned on is 1. And you know, in converting binary numbers by 8, the maximum you can have is 255. And if you convert 255 in binaries into 8 places by 8, that is, let's do example. If you do 2 here, right, you will get an answer. I don't know, maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. It will be remainder 1. You will not do 1, 2, 2, remainder 1. Right? If you still remember this simple mathematics. Now, if you do all of these maths, this is the highest we get. The range is from 0 to 255. Now, if you do this math, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here there will be 2. Right? So, yeah, you don't have any business with these 2. Your business is this 8. So there is 8 turned on here, 8 turned on here, 8 turned on here. This is the network. And this network are the IPs. It is from here you will calculate the number of IPs that you can assign. But you see this host, these are the numbers of computers that can be assigned to this IP. So here we have host. Here we have, now in host, everything here is turned off. These are number of things that are turned off. This could actually be number, but then they are turned off. So here we have 0, 0 into 8. If you do this thing, it will just give you this, right? So at the end of the day, we just have 0, 0 into 8. 0, 0 into 8 because we are using 8 bits, right? Now 0, 0 into 8 means you now do how many computers can be added to this host. We have a formula 2 raised to the power of n. In this case, n is equals to 8. So when you are talking, then that is where you get it. When IP address, even the assignable IP address, the total IP address you can get from here is 2 raised to the power of 9. This is 24. It will be, of n is 24. But the assignable, you will do minus 2. 1 for the identity, and what's the other one again? Oh gosh. All right, I'll just try to get that later. But that is it. 2 minus 2 here, and then the rest. But then when we talk about host, right, we are talking about computers that can be assigned. This is how you even know private IP in class C. That is what we use most often. It's always 192.168. If you check your computer now, if you go to your PowerShell, let me just use PowerShell. Which should I use now? Let me just use this. Please, somebody just unmute and remind me the common PowerShell that we have on PC. If you type ipconfig, yeah, and you hit on enter, it will give you the configuration that you have on your system. Yeah, you see that my own is even 192.168. Sorry, it's 168, not 68, 168. 192.168. 192.168. Like it's private. But if I go and check my internet now and say what is my IP address, it will give me something different. Because here on this internet, what is my IP address? Because on the internet is a public space. So my IP address will most likely change to a public IP address. But because that is my computer, it is private to me. That is why we have it private. So we are just explaining network and host. So when you see host, it is computer. So the actual computer that you are connecting to is in the system. Now you see we have 197. This is class C IP address 197. Anything outside 192.168 is a public address in class C. It is only class B that we have a range from 172.16 to 31, right? So this is a public IP address. We are dealing with IPv4 addresses, but we are not dealing with networking today. So we don't need to go that route. Okay, it becomes very, very unnecessary. So we are still here. So the actual computer you are connecting to is relying on this on-prem, right? And now we now talk of operating system. Now in IaaS, like I told you, if I want to build that Hyper-V environment, of course I have my system, which is I have my house, which I store my system, which my system automatically becomes a data center. I have my network, it becomes a data center if I don't configure the network I want to use. I have my host, that is my computer. Then operating system, then I showed you what I call the operating system that I recently downloaded. So in infrastructure, you need you maintain your operating system by yourself, do the upgrade and the rest. But on-prem, you are also in charge. But in platform, it has already been set to just come, build, and go. And in SaaS, it is done with. You don't need it. Network controls, yeah, network controls. You see that in SaaS, you don't have any business with it. Like here now, I just check. Sorry, yeah, I just check. This is internet. I'm just trying to allow it is public. So it becomes, just software as a service is actually public. Anybody can use it. And that is why you have it network controls. So it is their responsibility. So a platform, you can leave it for the service provider to control, as well you can configure it for yourself. Maybe for security purposes, maybe to tailor to organization policy. But in infrastructure, you control it by yourself. So if I want to build that Hyper-V, I may decide that, hey, I want to use this network. The one I used to write my ADDS applied skill exam, I actually configured it. Then you can say, okay, in on-prem, you don't have a choice. You just configure it. You may want to use your system IP address, but if you are not configuring it, it will just go straight. But then you know that you are in charge of it in IaaS. Then we have application. Of course, in IaaS, you build the application by yourself. Nothing concern anybody. The same thing with on-prem. But in platform, yeah, to an extent, right? Your provider will give you some app, but basically you use this to build app for yourself. Like you are responsible for building your application. But in SaaS, the applications are there. Just come, use and go. Identity and directory infrastructure. In SaaS, it is both your responsibility and the other person's responsibility. How is it their responsibility? They help you process who is coming and who is going. Like who wants to access this environment, who is going out of this environment, but you are in charge of creating those identity. You create them, you create users, you do a lot of stuff, you give them password, you delete password, but then it is now them that they will check, okay, is it here? Okay, it is here. All those underground check. The same thing on platform. Then in IaaS, you check everything by yourself, right? And in on-prem, the same thing. Then in on-prem, in account and identity. Now, this is something you need to know when we talk about account. Account without an access, without a license. Yeah, there's what you call license. We talked about license the last time, which grants you permissions to what you should do and what you should not do in an environment. Account without an identity. An identity. You have created this thing without a license is a user. But once you've given it a license, it becomes an account. Am I correct? Or is an account? Yeah. The moment you give it a license, it becomes an account. So you are in charge of creating everything. This directory infrastructure is just checking who and who, but this account, you are in charge. Like everywhere you see it's green there. Nobody should help you to manage your identity. Please, that is your organization, your device. You are in charge to say this account should be allowed on mobile, this should not be allowed on PC, this should be this should be that. So you are all in charge of everything you do in device management, whether SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, or on-prem. Then information, this is personal to you. You are in charge. So look at it here. Microsoft handle most of the backend stuff like managing server storage and networking, especially in SaaS and PaaS model. The customer manages their own data center, their devices, and identity, ensuring security and proper use, especially in, and then both Microsoft and the customer share responsibility, like ensuring security and managing identities in all cloud service providers. Okay, so there's something I wanted to show us here. Let me just do the fetch. MS 900. Let me just do exam. Please, I want us to do small practical. Time is fast running. So yeah, these are the study guide. Please, at spare time, you may want to study this. If you want me to drop the link, I will. Okay, fundamentals, SaaS and services. Yeah, it's under fundamentals. So everything we've actually talked today, most of them are here. You see cloud computing, introduction, fundamentals, shared responsibilities, cloud models. Okay, I don't think this is what I want to do. There is here something particular that I feel. These are apps and services. It shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be here. Create security, I'm sure. There's a security. So it should be under cloud fundamentals. So we start from introduction. I want to be very clear on that region pairs. These are just the fundamentals, these are just nothing. So please, when you're accessing this portal, ensure that you sign in with your personal account. I'm not signing, for example, anything I do here now, the progress will not be saved. But if I'm signed in, my progress will be saving up for me. Okay. So we even have, you see the 40 cloud here. I mean the multi-cloud, I mean to say. See the cloud consumption model. Oh my God. I know I did that thing somewhere, but I don't know why I'm not getting it. I did this somewhere, but I'm not getting it. Maybe we'll just discuss it briefly next time before we go into practical fully. So from next week, I want us to be talking more on Admin Center. We should start with Admin Center fully. Is a 900 exam so that we can start as administrators of Microsoft already. Like, I love it when we are doing stuff rather than just talking. Some of the times you even get the head confused. You don't even know which and which you are talking about again. You know, this kind of architecture and services. Sometimes you don't know what you are talking about again. You just get confused. But when you are doing it, you are doing it like you are doing it full time. You are happy. You make mistakes, you see the mistakes, you need to go back, you go back, you do what you need to do, you need to troubleshoot, you troubleshoot, like you are seeing what you are doing in real time. Okay. So I'm going to create account for every one of us. Yeah, we have an account. And uh, Olive, are you with me? Hello, Olive.
Yes, I am. I am.
Okay, maybe I'll task you with creating those accounts. Chidima already has one. Maybe Chidima will create for two. Let me check people that are on this call. Maybe Chidima will create for two and you will create for two. Okay, we are just three, yeah. Okay, we are just, yeah, you are just three. So we have Olami Boss. Oh, there is one account to create. Hmm. Okay, so this is how we will do it. Chidima, I will give you a user um, admin role. You create account for Akole Olamiposi. He's not in the group, but I will add him there. And Olive, you create another account for maybe you want to create a part two account for yourself. Oh no, create it for me. Create it for me. Create an account for me.
Okay.
Uh, just send me
But
my
you know that
details.
I was having issues earlier.
Yeah, we will get that resolved before I sleep, please.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Chidi, are you signing with your account, the one I created for you?
No,
No. Do you have any issue using it?
no.
Okay. Have you tried to use it?
Yeah, I've logged in with it.
Okay, I can see that you are signing here with your personal account. Please,
Yes.
after this call, okay, while in this call, I'll just use that for practical as well. I will try to give you a user administrator's role so you can create accounts for our college on. Olive, please, we will try to resolve that your account issue, and then you create an account for me and send me the details. I'll sign in and try. So
All right.
from here, and John, please, I will add you to the group. Just send your details so Chidima can take note of them. Okay. So yeah, the first thing you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen rather, is to open office.com. Once you open office.com, this is your starting point. Um, office.com, maybe we'll troubleshoot those issues, yeah. And what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take it slowly. There is home, there is create, there is OneDrive, there is apps. The truth is there are a lot more than this. These are recent things that I've done in this account. I'm not even planning to use this account. Just let me quickly switch. So I'll just sign in with a different account. This is my account. And this method of me signing in is what we call authentication. And yeah, because of security as an administrator, as a global administrator, I needed a multi-factor authentication. And this is the process where we have to confirm a code sent to my phone or a phone call, or I will use an app. I deactivated it, or I will use an app and check for a code that will be sent to me to, to authorize my sign in. So I'm just waiting for their text. I think I've gotten it on WhatsApp. If not, okay. If not, I'll just do, hey, sign in on another way, and then I'll click it again. I should be accepting it now. Yes, I've gotten it now. So I'll just open it. 1, 4, 2, 9, 3, 6. So I'll just verify that. So security is important for global administrators, like very, very, very important. Okay. So this is my environment. It's just loading up. Don't forget, this place that we are like this is just for ordinary users. It's just an endpoint. Everybody can access this place. Now, the permission you have will now determine, or the license you have will now determine what you have here. These are the recent things that I've created, right? And here, prepare for upcoming meeting. This is our meeting that we are on right now. Okay. So there are supposed to be apps here. But if I click here, this is app launcher. It's called app. So one thing about Microsoft is once you over there, it will give you the name of what is there. You see here app launcher, you see home. So you can actually come here and navigate anywhere. Go to your Outlook, Copilot, OneDrive. And if something you are looking for is not here, you can just click on this more app. Right? And then it's not still within this, you can do all apps. Now, what grants me access to all of these applications is because of the license I have. You will get it. If I do products.office.com, products.office.com, I want to show you the differences in those applications that I can have. Now, let me just do this a bit and then try to break this down. Let me just zoom out a little. So this is, I'll do for business, for example, for business. So in Microsoft, these are pricing. I don't want to take us to pricing yet. We will get there eventually. So I will now say see pricing plan, right? Now this is for home and this is for business. Now for business, we have business basics, we have business standards. Now if you want to buy business basic, it's $6 per user per month. If you want to buy business standards, it's $12 and $12.5 per user per month. Now look at the differences here. If I go for these basics, you see that I have access to, let me just come to this app. I will only have access to Teams. Do I have Teams here? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let me look for it. Teams should be in. This is Teams. You have access to OneDrive. Yes, I have OneDrive. You have access to Exchange. Yes, I have Exchange. You have access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Yeah. You see that there is no forms. Yeah, there is no, this is forms, and there is no forms here. If I did not have license that has form, I will not have it. Do we get it? Now, I have some other things that are here. We have list. Okay, now, if you check this standard that is 12.50, there is Word, there is Word, there is Excel, there is Excel, there's PowerPoint, there's PowerPoint. There is Outlook and there is Outlook. There is Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, Exchange, but there's no click charm. There's no Microsoft Loop. And there is here, beside the application, this is what is contained in Basics. Anytime phone and web support. Yeah, you don't have, if you have this license, you cannot install Windows like this from Microsoft in your system, in your local machine. Yeah, you have everything that is in Basics. Then you now have Plus, you now have the desktop version of Word Excel. Now, if you have this, you'll be able to install the normal local desktop Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the rest. You see, there are differences. So depend on the level and the package that you are using, your organization is using. That will determine what you have here. as application that you can have access to use. And this admin that you are seeing here may not be available for you. For example, if Chidima should sign it now, she will not see it here. It is always here. It is because I have administrator's privilege. That is why you are seeing it here. And if we go back, how do you know that you have access to install Office Suite in your application? How do you know? Now, if we go to home, there is always this install and more. If you click here, if you don't have access, you will not see this. No, you will see it. Once you click it, once you click it, just trying to sign me in again to be sure that you have the right access, right? To download it. Just coming up. Now you see Office device, Office apps and device. You see install Office, so you can install direct. But if you don't have at least business standard, you will not see this here. You may see subscription, you may see privacy and this, you may see app permission, but you will not be able to see this because you don't have it. So the level of my permission determines what I'm able to see here. And now I want to access the administrator's portal. What can you do in administration's portal? You can do everything depending on the level you have. What is this? Something went wrong. How? Admin, be cool. So I don't know what happened there. That is going off. So yeah, because I am an administrator, I am here. Let's assume I'm not an administrator. And yeah, this is my company's name. I can decide to go and check for my company details, right? This is my own personal information. I can, do a lot with this Office. I can change this. I can change the theme to dark, I can do settings, change things. I customized this before. You can as well do that. You can do a whole lot here, right? So if I want to change dashboard, we have about 2 views basically. So here is just a summary of what is happening in your organization. I have 3 of 13 licensed users have installed the apps. So among all my users, I have 13 users in this organization so far. This is my organization, right? I have only 3 that are using apps on their system that have installed it. Okay. User management, detail connected to Polandis.biz, a lot of things. I can view recommendation in case there are security postures that are, affecting these. I may just come watch. You can watch training on how you can navigate through the admin center. You watch the video. You can change to a simplified view. This is a simplified view. You see, good evening, Paul. So the one thing it wants to show you first is all the users. This is still a summary, right? All the users in your organizations, you can from here directly add user, you can edit a user, you can reset password, you can edit a group, you can switch dark mode and light mode, you can switch, just coming up. Now you can from here, if I change this thing, only this top side like this will be changed. I can do this, you see that it is changed. I think I can add more colors. I can add more colors. So doing that, we will need, where did I do this last time? It's been a while I actually played around these spaces like this, right? So you can actually do a lot. I don't know what happened that I customized this my home page. I becomes like this. Usually you see home, you see users next, but this time around something like do show all. I mean home, Copilot and users. So Copilot recently came in. It used to be home and users next, but yeah, you have users. You have active users, which are users currently in your organization. Okay, you can create from here. Don't worry, I will show you that. You have contacts. Contacts are people, can be people that are not in your organization. Maybe you have somebody. If you do add contacts now, you see email. Maybe you have somebody from you are working, for example, I'm working at Hashem Limited. Maybe I have somebody from Afesu Electricals who is into servicing of our electrical appliances in the office, and we have issues. Then I want to, quickly contact or send a mail to Afesu Electricals. I can just come and do quickly Afesu Electrical. So if I save this here, Afesu Electricals, if I save this here, and I put the display name, it will just pick this, and I do email, I put the email. If I want to send email to him, I don't need to go back to our WhatsApp and start searching for they sent me this email before. Where is it to? Then no. I can just go to my Outlook and search for him. He will not even know that it's in my contacts. Just the same way you save my number, and I don't know what to save it with. Right? If I say hide from organization global address list, if I click here, that means only me will be able to see it. Only me will be able to search for it. But if I will check it, anybody within the organization wants to send email, they can search for just the name. Just remember the name of the person. You don't need to remember the email. Then you can send it very easily. If you want to put more details, which company is it from? Does it have a phone number? Does it have an office number? A lot of stuff like that. Okay. So here we have guest users. What guest users do are external users. Maybe I'm working at Hashem and I need to collaborate on a project with somebody from Tech Experts. I'll just come here, add them, If I should add your personal accounts now, they'll send you a confirmation. You join this, then we'll collaborate on projects and do a lot of things. Something usually happens. No, we've not gotten yet. Let me not rush it because I want to show you. Then deleted users. If you delete a user, I deleted this user because of a mistake of name, right? If I delete this user now, it comes here to stay for 30 days. And upon 13 days, if I don't come to restore, for example, I will not be able to retrieve this user back. You see here that I cannot permanently delete. So there are two forms of delete. There is add delete, there is soft delete. This is soft delete. If I want to delete this user, I will go to identity, which is Microsoft Entra ID. I can actually come here, right? These are admin centers that are in Microsoft. So like I said about opportunities, you can be employed as security administrator, compliance administrator, Intune administrator, identity administrator, exchange in an organization. These are the most common ones. There are lots of them. So if you want to check them out, you can do cmd.ms. cmd.ms is a Microsoft command list. So you see a whole lot of administrators list. The much you can see is the much of roles that are available for you out there locally and internationally than you may just be assigned or recruited to work in as. So identity, I was talking about identity. Perhaps I want to delete that Chidima permanently and want her to go out of my organization as soon as possible. I will come to my identity. This is where you actually manage your identity very well. Identity are users in your organization. This one you are just doing here are just the basics that you can do. So from here, these are my active users. What do I want to do with my active users? First, I want to give Chidima administrator's role so that she can create an account for John. And if I come to this identity, it's still coming up. I think my network is getting slow. Don't know why. So yeah, if I come to users, you see that a lot of things that are there as well here, but this is where you manage them well. If I come to deleted user, you still see that same Chidima here. Here you see my email address. You see the company I'm working at under it. I deleted that. You just see Chidima here. This time around, you see delete permanently. All I did that it was not there. I'll just come delete permanently. Are you okay? Okay, bye-bye. User successfully deleted, complete. This is gone. This is the notification. Yeah, if I should come back to, it may not have synced yet, but I'm not expecting this to be here again. So yeah, let us quickly give Chidima an admin role so she can add John to So you see no admin role. So she can add John to this organization as a user. So amongst the top admin centers, the role I want to give her is not here. I want to give her either identity or I give her user administrator. Okay, there's administrator. So user administrator, you come to this place here, this information of part to know what it actually does or what they can do. He said reset user password, create and manage users and groups, including filters, manages services requests and monitor service requests. So I just want to quickly give you this. And know that the reason why you have access to this core is because you have Teams license, whether personal accounts or not. In personal accounts, there are two kinds. There is home, there is family. But we are not going there yet. If you want to treat licensing, we'll talk about that. So I'm giving Chidima this role. I have given you user administrator role. So it will sync as soon as possible. Please do well to create account for John. And please, if possible, if you can do it this night, please do it for him this night. So you see most of the licenses. If you check this license, you see most of them on license. Then you see this person has this mark. So Microsoft 365 E5 is the highest license you can ever have. Is the most, I think it costs about $36 per user per month something. And here I have it, the developer without Windows and audio conferencing. So audio conference, these are things terms. Don't worry, you will get to know them with time. Okay, so I want to look for Olive now. So Chidi, please, before we go, I will still show you how to create a user. Okay. Then Olive, we're having issue with your account and you have the user administrator's role. I remember blocking that account, which is supposed to be disabled. Here we have block sign in. Block this user from sign in. Let me first of all block. So Olive has been blocked from signing in. Knows that if you don't have administrator's access, you will not have access to this place. And even if you have access to this place, the only thing you can do here is dependent on the role you are giving. And that is what we call privilege access administration. Privilege, when you say privilege, that means you're just lucky. So you can be giving, like Chidima now, I just give her a privilege access administrator because I did not give her administrator to the whole of our environment. I only give her user, which means she can only work within this environment. She can access this, as well as groups. She can create groups. So because she has access to administration, she will have access to identity. She will have access to this place to manage users as well. Okay. So yeah, I want to unblock you. Unblock. Save changes. So please do well to always read instruction when you are carrying out any action. It may take up to 15 minutes until this user can sign in again. All right. So please, I just block your sign in and unblock. I don't know, maybe you want to try again. And if you have issue, please let me know. I think I should even try to check you from here. I should try to check you from my all users and see what they will have for me. I just hope you would not have issues again and sign in. Yeah, so the book session, should I? You're even in one of my, okay, you will be in the Word org group. Assign rules 1, assign license 2, account status, enable, last sign in. Let me see these your sign-ins are saved. So this is how you troubleshoot issues. I want to see all the attempts she has made to sign in, the ones that failed, the ones that pulled through. This was successful from 10 to 189. This is a class B public address. Right. So she tried to use office.com, 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 office.contract. Which day is this? The date 4. They holy. So there are laws that were successful. I don't know why that thing was bringing it back. Only this was interrupted. Only today we have all of this signed in. Interrupted, and they were unsuccessful. Which location? Lagos, Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. Do you have multi-factor authentication? Do you have? I don't think so. This could be the problem, right? This could be the problem. So I will just go and check for your authentication. And then I want to revoke all your authentication, right? So I don't want to edit properties. It should be here now. Why is this video like this? Okay, let me just quickly search for MFA. Multi-factor authentication. Account lookout block. Here, use Microsoft authentication and configure this. Why are you giving me stories? Let's start the Jare. What's this? Do I tell you any stories? So Chidi, just to quickly let you go, so before we resolve that account. So if you want to create a user, right, you come to users, you come to active users. This is where we are. You do add user. This is a singular user. You can do multiple. You put the first name, you put the second name. It's not compulsory. That is why there's no asterisk, but there must be a display name. Then you put the username. This case, just use John as you may change the domain, but use my default domain, right? Automatically create a password and require it, enable this. Then come to this. Please, when you get here, give him this license, it5 developer, okay, so that it can have access to all those applications. You may want to, okay, then you come to optional settings. Yeah, no administrative role. Don't give him anyone yet. Just give him the account. Then here on finish, you just click on finish and then you will be done. But from this finish, ensure that you review the summary to be sure that everything is well correct. So at this junction, I think we can bring this session to an end while I troubleshoot and that's only issues. And if we have questions, we can just bring them up right away while I stop this recording already. So thank you very much, guys. And I hope that we enjoy the rest of our week and take this course very seriously. Hopefully from next week, we'll begin to deal with users, active users, anywhere we get to before we get to teams and group. Anywhere, if we finish teams and group, we'll go to role. If we finish, we'll go to resources, marketplace, billing, and so on and so forth. Thank you again once. So, okay, I'll stop